Dude, thanks for taking the time to sit with me. You know what? Before we sat down, or today, I was thinking about it. I'm like, damn, how long have I known this fool? And I remember there was one time we were out. It was me, Fee, and Jessica. And we went downtown. And I don't know if we went to your place or not, but I think we might have been in there. We were somewhere else. I think we just went out and we met some friends up.
Yeah.
And then there was that one fight. And it was me and Fee getting our asses whipped. And then you come out of nowhere and saved me. Saved us. And I remember Jessica was like, what the hell? And Fee, I think, was getting punched on the ground. And I got thrown on a card. It was dumb, reckless stuff, man.
The good old 20s, man.
Dude,
the mid-20s where everyone's just reckless out there.
No remorse towards nothing or anything, man. I know who you are. For those that don't, do me a favor, just kind of introduce yourself.
Well, as some of you know, my name is Joshua Silva, originally from South Houston, currently GM at a bar at Casablanca out on Main Street in downtown. But there's more to the story, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to tell my story, and I know there's been a lot of questions that I've been getting over these past few weeks. For those of you that don't know, I got diagnosed with kidney cancer at the age of 31, which I'm still trying to cope with and deal with. But people are like, oh, look, it seems like you're normal. You're living your normal life. It seems like nothing happened to you. But, and that's kind of why I'm here. I'm kind of here to like give some, not closure, but just to put it out there in terms of like what actually happened and how it came about and where I am mentally. And just, I don't know, it's just one of those things where I feel like this is going to be a way that I could, how do you say, cope with what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to brush it under the rug, but at the same time, I don't want it to consume my life in that sense. Like I don't want everyone to know me as, oh, this is Josh, the guy who has kidney cancer.
So do you technically still have kidney cancer?
No.
Okay.
As of today, it is January 9th, 2024. I am, the cancer's gone.
Okay.
I don't know, because I'm in a remission. I don't know if you say cancer-free or
that
beat
chapters
cancer.
of it now is recovery.
Yes. So basically now I'm just getting monitored. Surveillance, just to make sure it doesn't come back.
So but let's work backwards from that. So and I don't mean to say this in like a desensing, like deep, like of like lower value or whatever, but like you're just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Just regular hardworking kid. Just kind of grew up kind of like what we did, ventured in, kind of did your own stuff. You're into golf, you're into fitness. I would consider you he's just a regular dude, just doing his thing. Now, would you add anything or change anything about kind of what I just said? Or like,
No,
how would you describe yourself?
And I would describe, you hit the nail on the head. Even the people, whenever they found out this stuff had happened to me, they're like, one of the first things they say is, wow, Josh, oh, he's so healthy. He was doing this and this. He was always running. This is coming from a guy, work out 5-6 days a week, running 8 to 15 miles a week. Like I was finally catching my groove in my early 30s. And honestly, this is just something that turned my world upside down and came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere, and I think I have to learn the lesson of why this happened to me. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to kind of like put it out into the world the way I'm feeling.
What were some of the issues and the symptoms that you were having like leading up to it? I get this little weird pain back here, and I'm stubborn, and I need to do better at listening to my body and going and getting checked up and seeing what it is before it becomes something that I can't, come back from, or it's just too late, right? Yeah. Were there any little signs, or what were some of the things that, like I said, feelings, issues that you were having leading up to the particular day where you were like, this is it?
So during the time, like I would say the last 2 years, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary other than I was feeling quite anxious. This was like the first time where I experienced a panic attack, and learning what that was and learning about anxiety. Because anxiety, I was thinking like, oh, that would never affect me. But that's one of those things that come out and you don't really realize you're having a panic attack or you're dealing with anxiety until you read up on it and you're like, oh, that's why my heart rate's been high out of nowhere, or that's why I've been tossing and turning and can't sleep, or that's why my palms get sweaty. So I think looking back at it, my anxiety was just skyrocketing to where I was trying to find ways to cope with it. in terms of I was, audiobooks, podcasts, breathing exercises, like trying to cope with it. And I thought I had it under control, but I'm not saying this is a symptom, but it kind of all makes sense in the sense that my body was trying to fight something off that was going on
Yeah, you
inside
didn't
of it.
feel yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My body's triggering fight or flight responses because there's something growing inside of me. And me, I don't know. I'm 31 years old. I'm always active. This is the stuff that I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah.
So cancer is the last thing I'm thinking about. The last thing I'm thinking about is cancer.
Man, that's one of the things too. I didn't know this, and as I get older, I'm more aware of like that. I don't have control of my body anymore, and I am now in the phase where I do start to have a little. I have friends and I have family that, I mean, just you hear stories similar to yours. You hear things where like, man, this person at 24,
Yeah.
whatever medical issue they had, and I didn't really. I do the podcast, I do the reading, I do the self-development. Now in my 30s, I'm a little bit more open to things like that because, or not because, but one of the things I found out, like seasonal depression is a real thing for me in my life. And I don't deal with things in this time of year to the best of my ability. So I'm learning to cope with that. So I think sitting down and having these conversations as young men, getting into that we're still young, we're not old, but we are older. We need to be a little bit more aware and listen to some of the things and just go and ask for help or seek some, like, man, I should probably go get my shit checked out.
And that's the main thing that I wish I would have done differently, is just getting a physical done more periodically.
So a physical would have caught this?
No.
Okay.
But a physical would have gave me a baseline to see how or when my levels started changing in terms of like if there was a
I got
history.
you. You would have had a trend.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
trended. Oh, something's declining here.
So let's say last year, like, oh, my levels are off here or there. Okay, let me spark and let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on there. And I probably would have caught it sooner. Not saying it would have shown up on anything. I probably would have caught it sooner, though, in the sense of I probably would have seen a specialist sooner than later.
What aside from the anxiety that you mentioned you were fighting off, like what was giving you anxiety?
Health.
You were just
Health.
yeah.
Like, hands down, it was health.
Yeah,
Like-
because you strike me as far as I know you, like we've been more mutual friends than we have been like friends.
Yeah.
But it's always love. Anytime I run into you, it's always a good time. We're always just real with each other, and it's just like it's always what it's been. But I don't know you from like a personal level, right? And I've watched your fitness journey. I'm sure you've watched me too, growing up from the 20s where it's just fun, reckless. We're just partying, doing whatever. To now you kind of restructuring your life and doing the fitness things that you enjoy. And that's another reason why I connected with you, because I love the fact that I know what it takes to do what you're doing because I do some of it as far as the fitness stuff. So to see you consistently pressing and pressing and pressing was something that I admired about you.
Yeah.
And you were sharing it online, and I want to encourage more people to continue to do those things where we encourage the fitness, we encourage the growth and doing the thing like that. But so it was just the physical like fitness thing that was causing you anxiety?
So honestly, I always had the fear of having a heart attack early. And whenever you're getting older, especially, I remember 29, I remember like hating the fact that I was going to turn 30 for the sense of, damn, I'm getting older. Because that's when it actually starts hitting you. Is whenever you see that 3 in the front of your age, it's like, damn, this is the 30s. This is what I was trying to avoid all through my teens and my 20s. Yeah. You would always make fun of the people in their 30s. Oh, he's old, he's old. So I remember thinking like, man, I hadn't gotten checked up in a while, like in terms of a physical. I don't know where I stand physically. I haven't went to the doctor since I got kicked off of health insurance whenever you're 26. So it was like a 3-year span. And I was like, man, I know I've been drinking, obviously. Being in the nightlife industry, you drink. I know that I had gotten unhealthy. I know that I was overweight at the time. I was big back. And then COVID scared me because I was like, man, I can't, if I caught COVID and I'm this heavy and I can't even run a mile right now, then there's no way if I caught COVID, I'm going to probably pass away. So then anxiety starts sparking. Is it the fear of dying? Is it the fear of having a heart attack? At the end of the day, I just want to be the healthiest I can be. So then fast forwarding to now, damn, I lost my train of thought, but fast forwarding to now, it's one of those things where I'm trying to avoid all these major things from happening to myself. But at the end of the day, something like that had happened to where it was out of my control.
How do you go from the, like, okay, so we were dealing with anxiety and your body's obviously fighting something off. Like, how did the initial, like, what, did you go to the hospital?
Yeah.
Did you felt something that you just needed to really go?
So here's the story. Here's the story that everyone's been trying to. I've been explaining it, and let me just tell the story on how it happened. So obviously the Astros were playing the Rangers. I think it was Game 6. I had went out with a group of friends. We went out that night to watch the game. So I have my little ranch water, and honestly, these past 2 years, I haven't really been drinking as much as I used to. Even if I do drink, it's like the 3 to 5 drink max type deal. I hadn't blacked out in a long time. I hadn't, went on a bender for a week or two in a long time. But it was one of those things where I remember going to bed that night after having a few ranch waters, and there's tahini on the ranch waters. I remember thinking like, man, my stomach hurts. And I remember telling myself like, no, it's probably just an upset stomach, the tahini's probably messing up my stomach or whatever. And I remember just laying in bed, and it's like, I'm in bed around 1 and it's still hurting. I'm tossing and turning. And I kid you not, for 6 hours, I'm tossing and turning, never fell asleep. And I knew at that point there's something different going on. So I remember waking up and I told my girlfriend, I said, hey, I'm not going to, I don't want to freak you out or anything, but something's not right. And she's like, well, just go, obviously what anyone would say, just go to the restroom. Well, try to go to the restroom. Nothing's happening. And this is at like 7 in the morning. She takes off for work. I remember waking up. I'm like, man, I can't sleep. Let me try walking around, trying to get my, body moving. All of a sudden, between 8 and 11 a.m., the sharpest pain started getting me on the side of my stomach. And I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, first thing I do, hop on TikTok, pain on right side of the abdomen, and then it all starts showing appendix, signs of your appendix rupturing. So I remember I called my mom, called my dad, called my sisters, called my girlfriend. I'm like, hey, I'm going to the ER. I need to go to the ER like ASAP. So my girlfriend comes, picks me up. We go to the ER. And at this point, I can't stand up straight. So I'm just in the ER.
Is that from the pain?
From the pain. And I remember cussing like, damn, saying, fuck, this hurts. And I'm getting checked in. And I remember telling the doctor, I'm like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have health insurance. So if this is something that I could just go home and deal with, like, let me know now. And they're like, no, we got to go get a CAT scan done. So they send me to the back to get a CAT scan done. And this is around 4 p.m. and I'm still in pain. So we get the CAT scan done, and then I'm just sitting in a room where they got, an IV hooked onto me. And I'm just sitting there, and, the game's about to start. And I had bought tickets to the Astros game versus the Rangers game 7. So I was like, man, I need to hurry up and get out of here. I want to go to the game. I remember my girlfriend was with me. I said, man, I need to go to the restroom. And I can't walk, so I'm in a wheelchair. So she's wheeling me down the hallway. I don't want to name the hospital, but she's wheeling me down the hallway to the restroom. And then a doctor's walking down the hallway, and she's like, hey, are you Mr. Silva? And I'm like, yeah. And this whole time, I'm like expecting her to tell me, yeah, your CAT scans came back, and it was your appendix, blah, blah, blah. So then she's like, we got the results. Do you want me to tell you right here, right now? Or do you want me to wait? I was like, you can just tell me right now. I'm on my way to the restroom to it wasn't going to be a big deal. I'm thinking, well, she's like, well, yeah, your appendix is about to rupture. And also we found a 4 centimeter mass on your left kidney. And right then and there, I remember just like, you're in a daze at that point, because you're like hurting from what's going on with the appendix. And then at the same time, you just got some news that totally out of left field that you were not expecting. And she goes, yeah, well, it was an incidental find. So meaning that it has nothing to do with the reason why I'm there, but it's like, hey, this is there on your kidney. You need to go get it looked at. So I remember the whole time I look back, because I'm on a wheelchair, I look back and I'm like, man, like, it doesn't really hit me yet. I'm just like, okay, well, let me just go to the restroom. So I go to the restroom, I'm sitting there, and I remember standing up to take a piss, and I remember thinking like, damn, do I have cancer? And because, when you hear mass, first thing you think is cancer. So then I get out the restroom, and I sit back down in the wheelchair. I call and text my family. I said, hey, y'all need to get to the hospital like now. Like, y'all need to come now. I didn't want to tell them, because right then, because I didn't want them to freak out coming over.
Yeah.
So I just tell them, they all get there, and I know my dad had found out, and obviously they're just more of a sense of like, well, we don't know what it is. It could be anything. And I call my buddy whose dad's a doctor, and he's like, well, this happens quite often where people come in and then we find something. More than likely it might be a cyst. So, let's not think much about it right now. Let's just get the surgery done with the appendix, and then we'll deal with this later. So, after I hear all that, I'm like telling myself, okay, it's probably a cyst. Like, let's calm down. It's probably nothing. It's a cyst. Like, you're young, you're healthy, you haven't felt anything. Like, you're not peeing blood. Like, you're fine. So I remember like this, because I ended up having to stay overnight in the hospital that day because they couldn't get me into surgery till the next morning. And, it would come and go in my thoughts. I would tell like my family who was there, I'm like, man, I think it's cancer. They're like, no, don't say that. Don't say it's cancer. I said, I don't know, man. Like, that's just weird. The way the doctor explained it to me, it was just weird. And then at this point, you don't really know what's going on. So I'm talking to them, and then another doctor comes in. They're like, well, you're going to have to see a urologist. Urologist deals with your kidneys, prostate, and I remember there was a urologist there at that specific hospital. He came in, and this is after I got my appendix surgery. So I was scared about going under or even having surgery because I've never had surgery before in my life.
So they did the surgery, took care of your appendix issue.
Yeah.
And you're still there waiting to see what's going on with this mass.
Well, I'm still there because I'm in recovery from the surgery. But at that time, that's when the hospital sent a urologist in to talk to me. And the urologist, and this goes back to this. I really hope when people go to the hospital or whoever works in the medical field, they know how to talk to patients. I think that's the biggest thing. Because when you're talking to a patient and they're in their most vulnerable moments, they're going to take whatever you say and they're going to run with it mentally, right? So you do need to be careful about what you say, but you also don't want to be vague, right? Because vague is going to allow your patient's mind to just race. So I remember the urologist coming in and talking to me, and it's me and my mom, and I remember him saying, and he wasn't really making eye contact with me, which was kind of like, I was getting pissed off about it, and I'm on all these meds, and I remember sitting there, he's at the door, and I'm sitting on the bed, and I'm like, so what do you think, doc? Like, do you think it's cancer? And he was like, well, we don't really know until, we get it tested, or I need to get a better look at it, and I'm like, well, what do you think? Like, honestly, is it cancer or not? And then that's whenever he broke eye contact, looked toward the side, and he was like, well, if you're going to put a gun to my head, I would say it's cancer. And I remember my heart dropping when he said that, because I'm thinking, okay, here's a guy who's seen a lot of these in his lifetime, and he's just going to go ahead and just shoot it to me straight, right? But he was still vague with it. So he was like, I think it's cancer, but there's a chance that it's not. So I remember recovering from the appendix surgery. I remember like sitting in the living room, and I remember thinking like, man, like that's where it's hitting you. Your mind's racing. You're like, am I gonna die? Like, honestly, am I gonna die? You don't know who to talk to. You don't know, like, because no one's feeling the way you're feeling. Like, honestly, you're really thinking like you're about to pass away. How can a guy who's done everything to avoid stuff like this, how does he end up catching cancer at the age of 31? And that's the question that urologist is asking me. He's like, hey, did you work in the plants? Are you a tobacco user? Like, there's no risk factors that I have that would cause me to have this going on. So it was just one of those things where it's an out of body experience. And I'm still trying to cope with it now, but the main thing and this is where I fell on turning towards faith a lot. Because I was in a place where, why me? Why me? I'm about to die. Why would this happen to me when everything was going so well? Why out of left field? Like, why God? Why God? Why God? And then you see what it does to the people around you, to your family. Like, cancer is a scary thing. Like, it's honestly one of the scariest things that I wish no one goes through. Because, granted, I had a situation where, well, let me go back to it because I don't want to get to that point yet. So let's just get back to how I found out. So then I find out, they're like, hey, we got to go get an MRI done. So at this point, I leave that hospital system and I go into another hospital system where my buddy's dad works in, right? So he was like, hey, there's this urologist. He's going to be perfect for you. Like, go see him. I said, okay. So I get my MRI done. I send it to the urologist there, and then this is like 3 weeks later. So I had 3 weeks to dwell on all this. But at this time, I'm like telling myself like it's not cancer, because I'm still holding on to that hope that it's a cyst, or
Dude, that would drive me insane. I want answers.
that's
Just give me answers.
and that's how I am. I want it. I want to know if it's cancer. Tell me now it's cancer.
How do we move forward?
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's just that 3 week window where I'm just like terrified, can't sleep, thinking I'm gonna die, like wondering what the hell's going on, trying to find the light at what's going on. You're trying to find the positives, right? You're trying to stay strong for the people around you because you don't want them to freak out and stress out. So you're over here. When I'm driving, I'm crying. Whenever I'm laying on the couch by myself, I'm crying. Whenever I'm about to go to sleep, I'm crying. Like it's just, and it's not like bawling, but you're crying because it's just emotions that you're not prepared for.
Like a hopelessness almost?
It's a hopelessness because, and I'll tell people like, okay, if it's something that I have control over, like let's say, hey, you're pre-diabetic. Okay, well let me eat right. Let me do more cardio. I got control over it. But whenever it's something like, hey, there's cancer growing inside you, I can't reach in there.
You can't. Yeah.
I can't eat. I can't eat nothing. I can't drink nothing that's gonna save me. Like it's there. It's growing. So, I go meet the urologist, and this was a big day. I think the urologist day was like one of the bigger ones because that's when I finally got closure in a sense. It was me and my parents and my girlfriend. We went and we met with the urologist, and I remember he pulls us into his office. And mind you, my dad was one of those people who's like, it's not cancer. Like, praying, be all right. It's in God's hands. It's not cancer. We're going to go. They're just going to tell us that it's just something that's just been there this whole time. We've just seen it, or whatever. So we go in. I remember the doctor, we're sitting in his office. He has a pretty big office. And he's looking on the computer screen, and he's looking at the MRI. And I'm standing up behind, like kind of over his shoulder, and everyone's sitting down towards the right of me. And I'm just standing there, and like my heart's pounding because I kind of know that, all right, we're going to figure it out. Because what I had previously was a CAT scan done, which is kind of like a 2D image. And I got the MRI done, which is more in depth.
Yeah, 3D type, yeah.
So they're able to pinpoint it. And then I remember he's looking at it, and he's scrolling. And I'm like thinking like, yeah. So he's talking to us, and he's, calm. And he's just like, yeah, well, everyone look. And so he shows us the computer. He goes, you see this here? He goes, this is the kidney, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's the kidney. He goes, what do you see wrong with this kidney? And then obviously you see a big ball that's on the side of it. And he goes, well, this right here, this is what we're looking at. And it was huge, bro. Like your kidney's about the size of your hand. And this thing was sticking out like on the top of it. And I remember him telling me, he was like, yeah, well, it's pretty big. It's at that size where it likes spreading.
What's going through your mind as he's telling you this?
You're blacked out.
Yeah.
You blacked out. You don't, and that's why I'm glad people were there because after he tells me that, hey, this is growing and I'm seeing it with my eyes, you're in a daze. You don't know what to think. And then you're hearing him talk and your heart's pounding and you're just like in a daze. And then he's telling us like, okay, this is what we could do. Cause I'm thinking you go in, you do a biopsy to see if it's cancer, right? And apparently that's like an old thing that they do. Like now especially on your kidney, they like to go in there and just take it out and then they'll send it into testing, right? So we're putting a plan together. Me and the doctor, we're putting a plan together. And backtrack a little bit. I wasn't even supposed to see this doctor until February, March. My buddy's dad is the one that was able to get me in within a week to see this doctor. He's a very good doctor.
I believe in networking and I believe in building relationships with people because you never know when you're going to be able to just be given an opportunity simply because because someone knows you and you're a good person to them and you've been a good person for them. Yeah. I am huge on that.
Yeah, and I don't want to release his. I want to give him their flowers. I don't want to release the names.
He knows who he is.
Yeah, he knows who he is. And then he gets me in. So I'm already like, okay, let's get this over with, right? And I remember I asked the doctor, and this is towards the end of that conversation. We're probably in there about 10, 15 minutes. And I remember I asked the doctor, I said, well, so what do you think, doc? Like, am I going to be okay? Like, am I going to be okay? And he was like, well, I mean, it depends. And nobody ever wants to hear that, right? So I'm like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean it depends? And he goes, well, I need you to go get a chest scan because it's at the size where it likes to spread. So I need you to go get a chest scan so we could assure that it hadn't spread, because if this thing's going to spread, it likes to spread to your chest. So then, boom, my heart's dropping again. So this whole time, I'm like, I can't catch a break. I'm not getting any answers. I can't catch a break. And I remember asking, like, well, what is it? And he goes, oh, it's cancer. Like, straight up. And as blunt as he was, I'm happy he was blunt. But he was like, yeah, it's cancer. And he goes, I've been doing this a long time. Like, this is cancer. I remember my dad was standing to my right, and I remember looking at him, and I remember his face, like, dropping. And I remember me shaking and trembling, because I remember him telling me the couple of days before, he was like, no, it's not cancer, son. It's not. Like, I know it's not. Until I hear the doctor tell me it's cancer, it's not cancer. So get that out your head.
And your dad's a very, like strong, like stern, old school Hispanic, like, you know, like just he's not gonna break. Like, his emotions is just still, and that's it.
Yep.
He jokes around, plays around or whatever, but for the most part, he's pretty about business type of, like, I couldn't.
So I remember, and even the day before I met with the urologist, we went on a 6-mile walk around Memorial Park, and we were talking, and he was kind of just prepping me, like, for the news and telling me, like, hey, it's not going to be cancer. So I remember when the doctor said it was cancer, I remember his face dropping and, like, him turning white. And I remember me being like, man, like, I didn't know what to say. And this was the end of the conversation with the doctor. And you know, we're walking out. And as we're walking out, I just remember breaking down in the hallway, going back to the car, because I am terrified at this point. So not only did you tell me I have cancer, but you also tell me that we can't really move forward because we got to get another scan done, because we need to see if it's spreading. Because if it's spreading, that turns this whole thing, it makes it way more complicated. Like, that means you got to go get chemo, like, tomorrow.
Yeah, because it's already targeting everything else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does it spread to your, like, organs, or does it spread to just everywhere?
It spreads just everywhere, brother. It's like it spreads to your organs, your bones, your blood. But I think certain types of cancers have, you know, their favorite places where they like to spread. So in this case, it was like the lungs and the chest. So then I remember breaking down in the hallway, and I'll never forget it. We walked down. We walked down, and we're like in the patio area to the hospital. And I remember it's like my dad constantly looking at me like, you know, he's trying to be strong, obviously. And then I remember him telling me, like, I remember him breaking down. And then whenever he broke down, because we're saying bye or whatever, whenever he broke down is whenever I broke down. And then I was wondering why my mom wasn't breaking down. And my mom was just, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Let's go get the chest scan, whatever. And I remember my dad breaking down so bad and him just walking away, like walking to the car because he couldn't take it, right? So then I get in my car, and I remember driving home. Oh, actually, I didn't drive home. We drove to Sawgrass to try to eat, and then obviously I couldn't eat. And right after that, I went straight to the MRI place. And I remember sitting down in the MRI place just thinking, like, damn, like, because I had just got an MRI done of the week before this. I'm like, man, I got to get another MRI done. And I remember thinking, like, damn, this is going to dictate, like, the next few months of my life. Because if it's spreading, I'm going to be going through chemo, radiation. Like, it's just going to be a tough ordeal. And I remember stressing about it. I remember crying all the way to the MRI place. I remember tearing up while I'm getting the MRI. I remember grabbing the disc and wanting to put it into a computer to see, knowing that I don't know how to read, you know, MRI. So I grabbed the computer, or I grabbed the computer disc, and I rushed it back towards to the hospital, the doctor's office, to give it to him. And whenever I was there earlier, his office was packed, people everywhere. And I remember thinking, like, damn, I'm the youngest person here. Everyone's in their 60s, 70s. I remember thinking, why am I here? I'm the youngest person. I even told my dad, I said, damn, like, I'm the youngest person here. He goes, yeah, well. I said, I don't know if that's a good thing. And he goes, no, you'll be okay. So then we go back into the office, and there's no one there at this time. And the doctor's like, I told the front desk lady, like, here, I have, you know, the disc. Like, let's give it to the doctor. And he's like, hey, come on back here. So we went into an actual room. And in the room is kind of where, it's hard to explain, I felt the most comfortable, because it's like, it's all out of my hands at this point. Like, I've done everything I could do up to this point. And the doctor explained to me, like, hey, like, I'm going to be honest with you. As long as it didn't spread, like, it should be fine. Like, let's just get it out of you, and it'll be okay. And I remember him telling me that he was about to go on surgery. He was about to go on leave because he had to get surgery done, and he wouldn't be back till February. And mind you, this is in November, and he's like, I need to get you in. I would love to get you in before I have my surgery done, because the sooner the better. And I'll never forget, he was sitting there and he told me to lift my shirt. He was like, okay, I'm going to go in here, 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 and here. We're going to pull it out from here. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, I thought your kidneys are in your back. He's like, no, well, we're going to go in through the front. So I was like, okay. So he's explaining to me the surgery, and we walk out. Well, this doctor, I don't know how to explain it. He's one of the best doctors I've experienced. He's very faith-oriented, which is another reason why I felt like, man, okay, there's just too many things going in my favor right now. Like, there's something greater than me going on. And the doctor.
That's a scary feeling, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I fight my battles with it, and every now and then I get that, like, you know when like you get that cool breeze and you kind of get the chills when you're just kind of sitting still somewhere.
Yeah.
Like every now and then I get like, dude, like a little bit of that where I'm just kind of like, this is beyond me. This is beyond me.
Yep. And then so we walk out of that office, and as we walk out, the front desk lady is like, hey, doctor, well, Dr. So-and-so canceled his surgery on the 29th for the robotic room. And then immediately my doctor's like, book it right now. And then he said, Josh, you have surgery on the 29th, which is a week from then. So everything's just starting to fall into place. And to go back to it, I don't have health insurance. So to even get seen by this hospital system, by this specialty doctor without insurance, was like, that's a miracle in itself. And for it to happen so quickly, that's another miracle in itself. And then so at this point, and my girlfriend, she's very faith oriented, and she's like, look, you're favored. I'm telling you right now, you're favored. Everyone's praying for you. Too many people are praying for you. You got everyone. I'm in prayer circles all over. And then she goes, you need to open your eyes. Like, stuff's starting to happen. Like, stuff is happening for you. Like, everything's starting to lie. And then I remember the doctor saying, okay, well, or the front desk lady saying, okay, well, the surgery is going to be this much. So I need you to reach out to this person as soon as you can, because we need this amount of money before the surgery in order for you to have surgery. And right, the surgery is about $70,000. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm never going to find $70,000 in 5 days. And still nobody really knows what's going on with me, right? Like, I'm not public with this. I'm not going to, hey, do y'all mind, like, you know, pitching in or whatever. I'm still kind of prideful in that sense. So I'm still slow playing it, keeping it private, because I didn't want to go out and tell people, because I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah, you don't have answers.
So then don't ask me, because I don't know. I'm still in the daze. And then, so the 29th is the surgery, and I'll never forget, it was the 27th, I got an email, and the email was from a charity that works with the hospital system. And I remember I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, man, and my mom and my dad, I was telling them all, I don't know how we're going to do it. Like, I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to have to find a way. I don't want to go public with this yet. I'm scared. Oh, just wait. Have you heard back from so-and-so? No, I haven't heard back from so-and-so. And then all of a sudden, that on the 27th, 2 days before the surgery, is whenever I got the email stating that, hey, this charity is going to pick up 98.5 or 98.6% of your surgery, your hospital stay. And all I had to come out with was just $1,600. And I was like, okay, well, I have that. Let's, put me on the schedule. Let's do it. And then right then and there was another moment, another one of those like moments like, damn, thank you, God. Like, wow, it really is all in your hands. Like, I have no control over this. Like, everything is just working itself out. And I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it. And I'm trying to explain it to my friends, and they're just there, to support me. And it's just one of those deals where I'm just kind of like in awe of what's going on. You're still in shock. So then the 29th comes out. I'm sorry for dragging this on.
No, that's good, dude. I mean, this is what you went through, and this is what you feel. And I was going to ask you that, like, kind of like where your relationship with, with having faith and things like that. Like, I hate to say that, like, you end up in prison. That's what people go to. You go through some medical thing. People go through whatever. But I think sometimes we need to go through that, or that's just what it was. Because I watched my brother kind of do life by himself, me doing life by myself, and he's starting to kind of open up a relationship, and have faith and follow a little bit more in line and live a more purposeful, meaningful life. And some of the mentors I study in real estate, they touch on it,
Yeah.
and I am more open to. I've been doing things my way, and I've gotten the same results. And the only thing I haven't really ever done was just try to build my relationship and grow and just continue to just push towards that. And I I now, you talking about it and witnessing my brother and then my family, like the ones that have my mom, and like no matter what, at the end of the day, they have this relationship, and it seems to be that at the end of the day, it always ends up being okay.
So, and this is the thing, because people ask me, I'm not, I'm Christian based, right? But I'm not like out here spewing the word to people, right? I am a Christian.
This is what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being a Christian just means that I have a relationship with God, right? So whether people ask me like, so why all of a sudden? And I'll tell you why all of a sudden. Because whenever you're sitting there, you're really thinking like, damn, like where am I going to go after this? If this is the last day on earth, where am I going to go after this? Whether it's, whether you're Christian, atheist, or you believe in something else, where are you going to go after this? And have I done right? Have I, lived a righteous path to get into heaven? In my case. And I was sitting there and I'm like, wow, like this is really one of those moments. And everybody's going to go through this moment. You're not going to avoid it. Whether it's going to be death, financial hardship, everybody's going to have a moment where it's going to be a realization wow, what's going to happen to me? You got to leave it up to someone, right? Me, in my case, I'm leaving it up to God. And I'm seeing the blessings that were coming my way during these past 3 months. And whenever you start using words like lucky, I don't know how that happened. Man, I can't believe that happened. When you're starting to use that word a lot more, with me in my case, with paying for the surgery, catching it, I caught it not even knowing that I needed to catch it. God sent me there for my appendix that had nothing to do with my kidney, just to be like, hey, this is your time to find out what's going on. You need to go figure it out.
There's no way those are coincidences.
There's no way they're coincidences.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm trying to. It's hard to say it without it happening, because it's hard for me to explain it without it happening to somebody, right? But my thing is, it was just one of those things that it's just like you say, it's too much of a coincidence. There's no reason why I should have caught that. The time I caught it, literally, it was about to spread. Literally, the timing, within the next year, there was going to be issues where it was probably going to be too late. And for everything for me to getting in to see my urologist, to getting into a surgery where a doctor canceled, to a charity picking up for most of the hospital bill, like it's just too much of a coincidence. It's too much luck. But at the end of the day, I was just blessed and favored. Like literally blessed and highly favored is the way that people put it.
I always tell people too, man, it's like whatever you want to believe in, whether it's this chess piece, this rock, this planet, whatever, God works for me. And this is what I believe in, and this is what I'm going. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that yours is wrong or yours is right or mine is wrong, but this is what I believe in. I respect you, and I hope you respect mine. And I have had instances where taking this leap of faith in my career, taking this leap into the completely restructuring my life and restarting, I prayed a lot. And I didn't always pray a lot, but there was some dark moments where I didn't have nothing else to do but to pray.
Yep.
And I was just like, I'm just going to pray on it. And I'm like getting chills talking about it, because I remember an instance where I was going through a tough situation, and I just was like, God, just give me a sign. I was like, just give me a sign. And then I got a sign. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, all right, like, give me another sign. Give me another sign. And like, I live my way a certain deal, and I just said the word shit, and I may curse, and I may still do other things or whatever. So I'm not living this like I'm walking the line all the way narrow, straight, and I'm not going to veer off. I don't live like that. Mm-hmm. And I know I haven't read all the Bible. I've read passages of it. And I try to go to mass and just study and be a little bit more open to things that obviously are out of my control. But I'm doing what I feel comfortable doing. And this is the path that I feel. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring this up or talk about this on here, but I think it's something that it's been the signs. God's been knocking on my door. And I think sometimes we consider it luck, or we consider it just, coincidence or whatever. That's
Or
fine.
the universe.
The universe. That's fine. If that's what you want to believe in, that's fine. For me, my family, and the things that have slowly started to happen into my life, I know it's because I pray on it. My mom prays on it, and my dad prays on it. And I think, again, I fight the battle of, do I answer the door?
Yeah.
And I'm working on continuing to build this relationship and just try to be a better person and have faith and put things into, his hands and leave it up to him, and just say, whether I sink or swim is going to be, I'm going to do my things. Like, I don't want to say, like, I'm not going to work and I'm just going to pray that God pays all my bills.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in my work, and I'm going to do the things that I continue to just push through, and everything else is, if this is for me, give it to me.
Yep.
If it's not for me, then take it out of my life. As people, opportunities, business, connections, anything I do, I say, if this is for me, make it stick. If this is not for me, then I'll get it out of the way. And now I'm like, okay, that's what I asked for. That's what I asked for him to get this out of my way. I need to be watching for the next opportunity.
Yep.
Because I prayed on it and I asked. And so I'm with you. Do I fight the line? Do I struggle with it? Yes. But I've gotten that chill and that knock. I've heard that knock on the door a lot more often than just for it to be a coincidence or the planets aligning or whatever. Whatever you want to believe in, do it. It's just what works for me. This is what seems to be working for you.
And I'm telling you, this is when I say I lean heavy on faith during this time. I literally prayed. Like, it's hard to explain. As I'm walking these miles, I'm praying. As I'm sitting on the couch, I'm praying. As I'm driving, I was praying. And the 29th comes, right? So this surgery day, and I remember not being nervous. I remember not being nervous driving the 35 minutes to the hospital to get my surgery done. I remember, like, we're listening, me and my girlfriend were driving, and we're listening to some worship music as we were driving. I just remember feeling at ease. I remember feeling at ease because it's hard to explain, but I just felt like there's just angels with me, like on my shoulders, watching me above, and
you're moving comfortable because you know that what's supposed to be is going to happen.
Exactly.
And it's no longer up to you. And that's a good feeling.
Because whenever I went, after meeting with the urologist, whenever I went to go get the MRI done or the chest scan done, 2 days went by. And I remember being nervous and crying and thinking, like, okay, I had a pain right here. Man, that's the cancer. And I remember thinking, like, you know what? That's it, God. Like, if it is the cancer, we're going to get through this. I'm going to get through it. And if it's my time to go now, it's my time to go now. And that happened on a Thursday. And then Saturday night, I'm sitting down with a couple of buddies, and I get a message. And it's the doctor, because I had asked him, hey, did you get the results from the CAT scan? And the doctor said, he replied, the CAT scan shows no signs of spreading. We're still good to go on the 29th. No cancer, like the cancer hadn't spread. I remember feeling that sense of relief. And I remember, like, looking up, crying, thank you, God. You're nervous. You think, thank you, God. And that was on a Saturday. My surgery was on the Wednesday coming up. And like I said, I remember driving to the surgery, and they're prepping me, getting me all ready, and you change into the gown, and they're shaving you up because that's where they're going in. And I remember sitting and there's a picture, and I remember sitting on the hospital bed, and it's my mom, my dad, everyone's there, my girlfriend's there, everyone's there. And there's a cross that's right on top of me. And I still have that picture to this day, and that cross that's right on top of me. I remember getting rolled out, and before we get rolled out, we all said a prayer with the surgeon. We all said a prayer together. And mind you, this surgeon was very, very faith-oriented. And that's what helped me feel even more at ease. I've never met a doctor like that, a doctor that was just praying with me all the time. And I was like, so what do you think, doc? He goes, well, just pray. I said, okay. He's like, just pray. And I was like, are you sure? Like, just pray. Pray that we make it to the 29th, and pray that I'm healthy. Pray that my hands work. Pray that I can see. I'm like, all right, well, let's pray. And I remember before they rolled me back into surgery, I remember praying with everyone, and that's whenever the weight came off my shoulders, and then going under is scary. And I didn't know how big the surgery was. I knew it was a big surgery, but if the doctor would have told me it was going to be a 5-hour surgery, I would have been more anxious going into it.
Yeah, but also too, going under in your situation is different than going under for a molar or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like going under with that kind of pressure, not knowing what is going to happen. Like I went under when I hurt my finger, and the doctor was like, I need to get in here and see how tore up your finger is to know if I can really save it or not. So there's going to be a 50-50 shot that I may have to cut the tip of your finger off. Fortunately, they were able to save it. I don't know how good that is now because I get the little nummies every now and then in the cold. So I'm almost like,
Probably should have cut
should
it.
have cut it off, you know.
Yeah.
But whatever. But I can laugh at that.
Yeah.
You're going under for something really, really severe and really something that like you don't know. Like that's not a laughing thing.
I didn't know, and that's the thing. Even going into it, the doctor said, "Look, he still doesn't know, right? You don't know until you see it. You can see it on an MRI, but until you actually go in there and see it, you don't know." So then he was like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a chance that you could lose this kidney. Like there's a chance that you could lose it because I'm not going to leave cancer behind. So if I cut out the cancer and I stitch you up and you're still leaking fluids and our blood and stuff, and then I'll try it again. I'll try to stitch you up again. And if you're still leaking, like I'm going to have to take your whole kidney." And I remember being like, when he first told me, I remember reaching out to a couple of I have a buddy through BPN. I remember reaching out to him and I remember asking like, because he has one kidney. I remember saying, "Hey, how is it living with one kidney?" And then he was like, "Well, I mean, it's not, I don't notice anything." And I remember thinking to myself, okay, well, if I have one kidney, I'll be okay.
Yeah, that guy's making it. I guess I'll be all
like
right.
he's running 100-mile races, and he'll be. I can still be active. He was like, "Yeah, I just changed my diet, and I'm not able to, to drink alcohol as much, obviously." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I could do that. I could do without alcohol. It's not a big deal." And then so I was okay. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to lose a kidney, I'm going to lose a kidney. It's just down the road where I'm kind of stressed because it's like, okay, does that lead to dialysis and stuff like that? But in the time being, I could live with one kidney, right? So then I remember going under, and I remember telling the doctor, I said, "All right, doc, I believe in you." I said, "Let's do this." And I remember they wheel you back in these operating rooms now. They're all robotic arms, everything. And I'm like, well, all right, let's do this.
It's like a movie. You're sitting there and you're just like, damn, you're scared, you're nervous, but you're also impressed by you're like, what is all this shit?
So you're scared, but everything is happening so quick. It's just like a pit crew. Every doctor in there has their job, and everyone's doing it, right? So then they're getting me ready. They're putting me in anesthesia, and he's like, "All right, here you go." And I was like, "Look," and then I look up, look at the lights, and then I'm just gone. I just remember waking up, right? First thing I say while I'm in recovery, I said, "So did they take it?" And the nurses in there said, "Nope, you still got it." And then I was like, once again, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Like, thank you. We did this. We did. And then my nurses were like, "There's a lot of people here just waiting on you, so let's roll you back to a room." I said, "All right." So we go, and then I see all my family and friends, and you're still kind of hyped up on the anesthesia, so you're going through that phase of kind of like laughing and joking around and still not knowing the multitude of what happened. Then the doctor comes in and he's like, "Yeah, well, good news. We got 100% of the cancer out, and we're able to save most of your kidney." So I got like a kidney, and it looks like a half, but he took 100% of the cancer out and 10% of my kidney. So it kind of looks like a half moon.
Okay.
So I mean, it still functions, and it's not going to function as obviously as a whole kidney, but it's going to function well. So hopefully.
If you need to get that, you can check. See.
No, it's all good. So hopefully, so that's that. So then the following week, we go meet the urologist again, post-op. I'm going in there. And this is when he tells me the news of what we found. So he comes in and he's like, "Hey, just want to let you know that because I remember talking to him while I was in the hospital after the surgery. He was like, "Okay, this could be 2 types of cancer. Let's hope it's not this other type, this aggressive type. Because if it is this aggressive type, you're going to have to go get chemo, and I got to send you to an oncologist and stuff." So then I go the following week and I go talk to the urologist. He's like, "Surgery went well, and I just want to let you know that the cancer that we did find, it was the more common cancer. It's the
non-aggressive one.
The non-aggressive one. It's called clear cell renal cell carcinoma, which is kidney of the cancer, obviously. And by the time he took it out, it was stage 2. But he's going to continue to call it stage 1 just because it was on that borderline stage 2, and it was best case scenario in that sense. And No chemo or anything. It's just surveillance, just because they were able to take it all out. So now I'm just, all things considered, the best news. The best news. Is there a chance that it could come back? Yes, just like with anything, there's a chance it could come back. Is it hard for me to dwell on that? Or is it hard for me not to dwell on it coming back? Of course, bro. Like, I've been thinking about it. I'm only a month and a half probably past the surgery where they took it out. And I think about it probably more times than I should. And I know I'm eventually going to have to get over it in order to live my life. But things like this, like talking about it, it helps a lot. So
There was a guy that I used to work with at the plants, and he was the guy that used to do our elevators. He would fix the elevators and the cranes. Actually, more of the cranes, the overhead cranes is what he would do. And it was just the ones that were stationed there that we used to use at the plant. Well, the guy fell out because he had a heart attack. And they found him in this upstairs part of the warehouse, just laid there. The cleaning lady found him. God knows how long he was sitting there. Well, that's something he talked about, because they ended up putting like a defibrillator in his chest that when it skips a beat or something like that, or I don't know how they work, but if the rhythm in the heart drops over a course of a time, it kicks in and it resets. It's like having like a jump box in his heart for like his car. Yeah. And it puts his heart back in rhythm. And he talked about that being one of the scariest things too, that he spent a lot of time. I remember talking to him like up until I left, because I was curious to see how he was doing, So I would ask him the questions, and he talked about that being one of the struggles of, I don't know if I can just do my day without, like, I feel my leg twitches and I'm like, oh shit, is that my heart? Or, this hurts and I'm like, oh shit, is that my heart? Yep. So like, I don't want to say that I could imagine what you're going through, because I don't think anybody can until you go through that situation. The only thing I would advise you, just based off what this guy was telling me, was I would learn to make peace with it. Same thing. He prayed. I learned to make peace with it. I did everything I can. And outside of that, he had these little monitor things where he was calling the doctor like every day. He felt something, and the doctor was like, hey man, he's like, you're going to stress yourself out and you're going to put yourself in a worse position doing what you're doing. I understand. Like, it's justified. It's valid. But you have to give your body like the trust that it needs, and you have to find like that, like peace with it to just continue to push forward. Yep. There's a reason why you're here. Yeah. And there's a reason why you're able to sit here with me. There's a reason why things rolled out the way they did, whether it was bad from the beginning, but good because they caught it and they were able to remove it. So just give yourself, I couldn't imagine it, but if I had to, I would just say, like, man, just wake up every day and just say that as long as you can get to bed and wake up every day, you have a purpose for being here. And
that's the thing. God kept me here for a reason. And even the doctor said, like, hey, that appendix saved your life. God saved your life. God sent you in there to go get your appendix looked at, to get the scan, to find out this was going on. There's a reason why you're here. And it is my job to find out that reason. I have a purpose that he spared me, whether it's for the next 6 months, the next year, the next 2 years, 5 years, 20 years. I want to live a long life, but I also, the reality is the reality, right? Like, hey, I mean, you had cancer. Let's do what we can to avoid having it again, right? But I mean, the fact of the matter is you had it, and that's going to be the toughest thing. I even talked to my dad about it. I said the toughest thing is going to be like hoping that, it's that weird point in my life where it's like, okay, if I get married, why? I don't want to get married and leave my wife a widow. Or I don't want to have a kid and leave my kid without a dad.
But we as human nature, we always go to the worst.
Right.
So because you go to the worst, if you're gonna, that's a real reality. But my perspective is that if you're gonna consider the worst, you also have to consider the good. Because yes, this didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And then yes, this is a possibility. But if you take that into context, don't get in a car, because you could potentially get in a car wreck on the way home. Yep. So if you're gonna choose to live like that, then you have to also take it into other perspectives, but also look at the good. What if it doesn't? What if you don't end up with cancer again? And that was just the awakening you needed to get you to push towards whatever goal, whatever joy, whatever itch you've been wanting to scratch for the longest time that you've put off for a little. We talked about, doing a golf podcast a while back and kind of picked my brain on some of the equipment. Like, maybe that's the reason, maybe that's the thing you need to do. Yeah. The future plans you have with someone we know, like, maybe that's the more reason you need to push it and to get you that fire going.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you're here, dude. What it is for, I don't know, but you need to do something crazy enough that fulfills you and gives you that, where you can lay in bed every night knowing that I did good today and tomorrow I get another day.
And that's the thing. Whenever I was laying there, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, man, there's so much I'm leaving on the table if this is my time. There's so much I'm leaving on the table that I wish I would have done. So it is my prerogative and my goal this year coming up is to just go for it. Just keep going, keep doing what I was doing, but keep going. Put the foot down on the gas pedal a little bit more. I do not want to leave with any regrets, because at this point, this is one of those things where how much bad can it get? I have no reason to be scared anymore. I went through the scary part already. That was the most terrifying thing that I've ever went through, ever. What's going to top that? A cancer scare is tough. Having cancer is tough. But through every low, there's going to be a high. And I was robbing myself of that, because I can't say, you can't be positive all the time, Josh. Positive Josh. You can't all of a sudden, all this, prepping your mind and getting ready, doing all this stuff for the last 5 years for this to break you. Do not allow this to break you. Why all of a sudden when I got that health report, why all of a sudden am I throwing my hands up in the air and just laying on my back and giving up? No, I prepped myself. I did all those exercises. And that's the thing. This taught me more than anything, because this taught me that it doesn't come down to physical health. It comes down to mental health. Yeah, I could sit outside, I could run miles, right? Or I could be in the gym 5 hours. But do not allow stuff like this to break what's up here, because this is the strongest thing that you have over everything.
That's a killer within itself, because people mentally stress themselves out and put themselves, and their body starts to feel the effects of
Yes.
it. It is a huge thing, and that's why me taking my leap and leaving my career and doing these things is because, man, I wasn't meant to. I didn't feel like I felt like I was wasting potential. I felt like I was living something that, like, I wasn't happy. I was not happy, and yes, am I more financially stressed now than ever? Yeah, fuck yeah. Like I don't make the money that I used to,
Yeah.
But what's that worth if, I have a situation like yours, and the whole time I spent it doing those things, and I never got to take the leap to do what it is that I'm doing now. Yeah. Will I ever get there? I don't know, but I'm going to try today, and I'm just going to push through those things, because I don't ever want to have that sense of feeling where this is my last day. And I never chose to jump.
Yeah.
And I was so scared in reality, because it didn't even matter at the end of the day whether you did or you didn't. But if you're already here and you only have this small window, do you want to spend it stressed and not doing anything, or do you want to try to maximize it and live something that at least is going to teach your family or somebody that comes after you, like, that crazy motherfucker did some shit, And I'm not glad you went through the experience, but I'm glad you came out with the realization of maximizing that.
Because, and that's the thing, whenever you're going through, everyone's going to go through something bad. Everybody's going to go through something bad. But when you go through something bad, damn it, if you're already in it, you better find something that I'm going to go through this. I'm already going through it. Find the reason why you're going through it. You
lesson.
have to find the lesson.
Yeah, the lesson.
You have to be positive. You have to find the lesson in it. Me, I realize how important family is now. I've always known how important family is, right? But you realize that at the end of the day, when you're sitting in that damn hospital bed, your family and your very close friends are around you. That money in the bank is just money in the bank. You realize the most important thing, especially for me, was just the people that surrounded me that helped get me through these last few months. And then I'm sitting there in the hospital and I'm doing my walks around to try to get, when you go under, they blow you up to move your organs, and your organs are like moving, so everything's inflamed. So you try to walk around to calm everything down. And I'm walking around.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, so they fill you up. They fill you up in order with CO2 to basically your belly just gets real big.
That's fucking weird.
And they move stuff around. Obviously they had to move stuff around to get back there. But I'm walking around and I'm looking into these, hospital rooms, and there's just old people, and a lot of them are by themselves. Like literally by themselves, and that's another harsh reality. Is like every death is inevitable.
Yeah.
not that it, and I know death makes a lot of people uncomfortable, but the fact of the matter is that you're gonna die.
We're all gonna die.
Exactly. And so why not? And you're why not cherish these times with the people that you love now? Because eventually everyone's gonna die, right? So appreciate the times you get to spend with family and friends, parents, aunts, uncles. Because at the end of the day, if you're 80 years old and you're just sitting there on the bed by yourself, just counting down the days, that's just as sad. And another thing that I wanted to bring up was, when people say your life flashes before your eyes, whenever some like you're about to die or whatever, I kid you not, Fernando. I was sitting there, and the only memories I had was just of childhood and little league football and high school and college. Like you literally, your brain is crazy how it works. It goes back, and I haven't looked into the science of this or why it does it, but you just start thinking of like your timeline on life.
I was gonna ask you that. If was there something that was like a pivotal thing? Obviously, the entire fucking thing was pivotal, but like, was there anything in particular that like when they told you this, like you're numb to it, and it's like it hasn't hit you yet, and it's like that like hanging gas or shit that's right here, just like it hasn't gone anywhere yet, right? Like, but once all that did settle in, was there like any memory that like really stuck with you? Is there any like wrongdoing that like you wish you would have like, man, I could have handled this different, or I could have said something different to the person, or I shouldn't have done this, or like was there any things like that? I mean, I'm sure there was.
Like any regret, right?
Yeah, kind of regret, but any humbling like thing that like was just like, yeah, I guess like a regret. Like, was there anything like that that maybe you can think of?
I
for
wouldn't
sure?
say a regret, but I do remember going back in time and wishing, like after I got the diagnosis, like wishing like, man, I wish I would have done this different. I wish I wouldn't have drank this much during this time, right? Or just like stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you got to realize that has nothing to do with it. And I want to clear the air on this as well. I didn't get this from, I didn't get kidney cancer from drinking alcohol. That's not how it happened. I didn't get kidney cancer from what I ate. I didn't get kidney cancer from...
Do they know where it stemmed from?
It stems from... It's hereditary. It was in my genetics. I got family history of cancer running in my family, and I just happened to be the person who had cancer at the age of 31. And that's another thing that's scary. Like I obviously I got to get more genetic testing done, which is what I'm doing this year with my oncologist. But I don't want to spread this to a kid, right? And that's what we'll find out is what cancers am I more susceptible to going forward.
But you can't rob yourself of that.
I understand that, and I'm trying to work on that.
Yeah.
I know, trust me, I know I can't rob myself on that. But that's the reality of thoughts that come into my head. Yeah. And it's going to be tough to get past it. A therapist will help, but it's just one of those things where I got to move on with life, Fernando. I can't, and that's why I want to do this. I want to get it out there, clear my shoulders off of this, because a lot of people are coming up asking like, hey, what happened? Are you going to die? Like just stuff like that. I need to make sure I clear the air on that, because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. And I want to move on with my life. And yeah, am I going to look at these scars that are on my stomach every day? Yeah, and it's always going to remind me of that time. But at the end of the day, I am here for a reason, and I got to find that reason and just got to keep moving forward.
I know it's fresh, and this might be a question that maybe can wait a little bit, but like, what are some of the things that you're doing now moving forward because of what you went through, from like just your own personal like approach to the day and just this year and kind of your outlook on it?
Gratitude. I've been more thankful for every day waking up. Every day I wake up, I'm telling myself I'm healed. Just trying to get my mind like, thank you, God, I'm healed. Thank you for healing me. Faith as well, journaling a lot more. Just one of those things where this is a transitional period for me. I don't care. I mean, call it what you want, people, but this is a transitional period. It was very traumatic, and I have to use this to my advantage in the sense of I got to grow as a person.
You're supposed to change.
Exactly.
You're supposed to go through these things, and you're supposed to change. And I don't think everybody understands that, and that's okay. But the people, your family, the people that matter, the people that support you, that know who you are, I think we would all want somebody to change. I would hope that you would go through change, because one, it lets me know you're human. It lets me know you're a good person. It lets me know you feel. It lets me know that you have emotions. And those are the people that I want to be around, and the people that I don't know what it feels like to sit down and speak on this stuff. And I can see you at times get teary-eyed, And like I was trying not to I didn't bring tissue because I didn't expect we were gonna get to that. But like there was a little times there where I was kind of like, damn, like when you said your dad dropped, like your dad like walked away, because I imagine that like tough Hispanic deal now is like you can't help but to feel weak and helpless and hopeless, like or not just helpless, not hopeless but helpless. Like it's just like that is just the things that I thrive on now, and like I want to be more in tune with things that give me that feeling like that, where I need to change.
Yeah.
I need to appreciate life a lot more. I need to focus more on. I took the leap, and most of the team and the people that I fall on is like my brother, my mom, my dad, and my close friends. I'm sure you have that same group of people. I realized who those people are, and I've realized how important, those people are to my life. And I'm trying to do things now a lot more intentional with what I do. I want to be a lot more intentional with my relationships, with my day-to-day activities. People make fun of me and they like, oh, Mr. Influencer, this and that or whatever. That's okay. I know it's noise. They don't understand. If I sit here and focus on the jokes and the coming at me sideways things or whatever, I don't expect them to understand what it is that I'm feeling and what I'm going through, because this is a transitional period for me.
Yep.
So I think the people that are gonna want to be around you for who you are and are happy that you're starting to do this stuff and you're venturing into other things, motherfucker, we're supposed to change.
Yeah.
We're supposed to, and it's okay to not everybody's going to understand that, but not everybody also has the mental capability to have these conversations and sit down. And the having faith in your relationship with God, that's something that I've been tapping into, that I can walk away from here. I haven't had the experience that you felt and what you're going through, so I need to I don't have to deal with that. So I need to get up every day and I need to be thankful that I don't have what you went through. I need to listen to my body and go get what I'm feeling checked out, because I don't want to go through or deal with it from a worse situation where I can't come back from something.
Yeah.
So because life is so short and because the people around me, like they were there for you, I know there's a group of people, that my family and friends, that like are behind me and they want me to do good. They want me to do better and they want me to change and maximize what it is that I have. Because I think you're a very charismatic person. You're a very like easy person to get along with. You're the life of the party, but not only the party, the room. When you walk in, people lean to you. People lean to me. Like there's something about that we have where it's like this aura of like energy, of like positivity, where like you leave and they're like, man, I like being around that motherfucker because he makes me like, gets me going, gets me amped up. Like there's a neighbor of mine that just comes over and he just comes to just talk when he's having a bad day, when he's kind of feeling the pressures of life and things like that. Like, man, like for someone to come and look for you in that sense, I need to start focusing on those things, and I need to start magnifying on those things and surrounding myself with those things, because those are the things that push me to be a better person and take me to a higher level where like I want to do more with me. I want to apply more pressure with what I'm doing with this. I want to have more real conversations with people that had real life experiences. And for what it's worth, if nothing ever comes of it, at least I can go back and look at the stuff and say like, man, at the time that made me happy. And these are the people that I helped, and the realness, I mean, I don't know, man. That's just I am excited to see where you go, given the second chance you were given. You know,
I'm excited to see it as well, because I know it's given me a new jump start, not jump start, a new like boost in life. Like
it's a reset.
It's a reset.
It's a reset.
I got a clean bill of health as of now, so it's like I got to take advantage of it. Obviously, I'm trying just to get back in shape, just trying to, after being sedentary for so long, and that's exciting in itself. It's like, whoa, I remember I could do 50 push-ups in a row. Now I can't even do 10.
Well, because you can't squat or you can't do anything like that, right? So like, as far as from a fitness perspective, because I know you were really into that and you were really pushing that, and that's something you were adapting to your life. And I feel like I've kind of watched you go from like the little, heavy set, Josh, to now like, okay, you were in tip-top shape. You were looking good, dude. And I'm not saying you don't look bad now, but like, what is it that you're doing now, and how does reintroducing fitness look for you going forward from now?
Now it's more of things I need to avoid. I need to avoid being obese. So let's cut down on the body. Let's drop some body fat. I've been sober, obviously, since all this has happened, and I'm going to try to see how far I can go with that. Not anti-drinking by any
Just
means.
one day at a time. That helps me. Just one day at
Yeah.
a time. If I set a vision or a goal to say I'm not gonna drink for a year,
Yeah.
man, 3 weeks in, I'm like, if I just say like not today,
Yeah.
not today. That's it.
And that's the thing. And even when I do decide to drink, it's probably going to be, one or two. It's not going to be like the raging anymore. Obviously, I got to take care of my body, eat better, got to watch the sodium. My biggest concerns is just avoid diabetes and avoid obesity. So those are the things my doctors gave me. That's my goal. It's all I need is a goal, damn it. And I'm gonna make it, the right strides to make sure I reach that goal. So fitness now is looking more like a lot of HIIT workouts here. These next 6 weeks is going to be a lot of body weight HIIT workouts, mobility, flexibility work. Obviously golfing, try to get back into golfing shape. I'm going to get back to the stuff that I enjoy. It's not necessarily lifting the gym anymore. Just want to be healthy. I want to be able to run my 3 miles, and I want to be able to go out there and knock out 100 push-ups if I wanted to. I don't need to be in the gym squatting 500 pounds anymore. Like I've been there, done that. Those days are long gone. Now it's just about overall health. I just want to be healthy. Well, if that causes me to lose, 20 pounds, then by all means, I'll just be skinny Josh from now on. But that's just where I'm at. Where I know I'm going to be happy at. This is just one of those moments in life where you realize that it doesn't matter. Like little things don't matter. The gym doesn't matter. Yeah. Money in the bank, going to picking up the extra shifts to make the extra money in the bank doesn't matter. The nice cars don't matter. Like at the end of the day, you can have all that, but if your health is shit, it doesn't mean nothing when you're sitting on that hospital bed and can't move. Everyone comes into your life for a reason. I've met my buddy whose dad was a doctor for a reason. I met my girlfriend who's very faith-oriented at the right time, who helped me get through this for a reason. You meet everybody for a reason, and this was just one of those time frames in my life where everything kind of came together, and it was that light bulb that went off. It's like, wow, like that is why I met him. That's why I met her. That's why everything just kind of like coincided together. And it's beautiful, dude. It was a beautiful thing to go through. Looking back at it now, just seeing how faith works and how it moved mountains, and it's unexplainable. And that's the only way to explain it, is the fact that you can't.
Yeah, it's something you feel. It's like that cool breeze you feel in the room when things are just kind of going right. Mm-hmm. And you just, and you have that like epiphany where you're like, holy shit, this is bigger than me.
Yep.
Like this is genuinely bigger than me. And yeah, man, what besides the fitness and obviously like getting back into, the routine of things that you enjoy and kind of, getting your life back, is there any, goal from maybe like a career or business or something like that you are going to try to put the Jets on?
The Jets are already putting on.
Okay.
Keeping it under wraps. But
okay.
the Jets are already
there's
on.
Something that
There's something that's been brewing, and I'm hoping within the next year or two, everything starts coming in line. But if there's one thing I want to leave people with, it's that take care of yourself. Take care of yourself mentally, take care of yourself physically, take care of yourself, whether it's a relationship with God or whatever you believe in. Get right with everything. There's going to be moments in life where it's going to be like this, and you're going to hit rock bottom. You're going to feel like everything's against you. But it's those moments that you need to find, the light in. And whether it's something as simple as getting a physical done every year, or don't ignore your body. That's one thing that I did, is I ignored my body.
I'm like, damn, I maybe need to get this little thing checked out.
Do not ignore your body, because 9 times out of 10, if you catch it earlier, whether it's anything. It's
better to be preventative
exactly.
or proactive instead of retroactive.
Especially in the Latin and the Black communities, they do not go to the doctor. That is why we suffer the most. That is why, high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer, heart issues, everything is just stuff that if you're just aware about it, if you were just aware, you'll be able to make better daily decisions.
It's lack of knowledge.
And that's all it
all
is.
Comes down to just lack of knowledge.
Because I will tell you this, going through the healthcare system sucks. We got to do better with that. Going through the healthcare system was a headache. Stressful, very stressful. And if you don't have health insurance, get health insurance. Get it through the marketplace. Get it through your employer. Better to have it. Better be safe than sorry, because going through all this without health insurance was a headache.
That's one thing that I put on my to-do list this year because I was obviously had full benefits, all that other stuff, insurance and all that. And we had really good insurance and I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where like another thing for me to just continue to apply myself and do all that is because it is expensive. And it is expensive, but it also too it's better to have like car insurance.
Well, shit, it's expensive, but whenever you're coming out $1,800 for every MRI just to get looked at, like you're gonna pay for it one way or another.
Yeah.
And if you do have it, go to the doctor and use it.
Yeah.
I know so many people that have it and they don't use it. And then I was going through this. I'm like, dude, go to the doctor.
I've had friends that they have full insurance and all that stuff,
like,
and they haven't been to the dentist in
just
like
go.
6 years.
You're paying for it. You're gonna pay for it regardless. You're gonna pay for it one way or another. It just, if you have insurance, use it and go. Yeah. Be preventative. That's it. Just be preventative. That's the reason why I didn't have health insurance. I was like, oh, Josh, oh yeah, I could run, I could lift. I don't do any risky activities. I'm fine. I'm healthy. Like, I'm good. Like, I'll get it next year. That was always my thing. Every time it came time to sign up for it, I was like, I'm fine. I'll get it next year. I'll get it next year. Or, I'll get a job with full benefits next year. And it kept postponing. And then this happens, and I'm like, damn. Literally, a quarter of the way to the new year where I would have got insurance, right? That's what I say. But it all happens, and I get hit with all these bills. And hospital bills are one thing, but I'm also getting hit. The hospital bills that got taken care of, which is thank you, Lord, for that. But then I get hit with, everyone sends a bill. Anesthesiologist sends a bill, radiology sends a bill. Like,
yeah, they
you
tax
get bills
for everything.
Everything's billed. So it's like, man, just use your insurance, prevent it. If you don't have insurance, I recommend you get insurance, because I was you that didn't have insurance, and I don't need it. It's too expensive, but bro, like, get the damn insurance. Take care of your damn body. Eat right. Eat as well as you can. I'm not out here saying be sober, eat whole foods, go to church every Sunday. Obviously you should, right? But, just have a relationship with God, eat well, drink moderately. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't go cold turkey on anything. Yeah. Live life, have fun, right? So, I'm doing the sober thing, and I think, especially working in the nightlife industry, it's just one of those things where everyone wants to drink, take a shot with you, whatever. But it's okay saying no, especially, at our age. No one really cares no more. No one cares anymore. And that's one thing that I've noticed. People don't care if you don't want to have a drink anymore. Like, as long as your energy's good, you're fine. You'll get away with it. It's whenever you go out and you're just like sitting in the corner and you don't want to be there, that's where it's like, man, don't invite Fernando out. He's boring. But just have good energy when you're out. You could be sober while you're out.
Man, that's one thing that I've learned kind of to do is just like I went on that water fast thing that I was doing and whatnot, and like, I went out one time with some friends, and they were like, you want us to get you some water? Like, they were making fun of me. I was like, nah, man, it's cool. It's like, you can't have a drink. Like, I was like, it's okay. Like, why do we have to put the pressure on people?
Yeah.
Like I can't just come out and have a good time. And
yeah.
Like one of the girls was like, no, that's why I invited you. Just we enjoy you. Just wanted you to come out and have fun with us and just shoot the shit with us because you're cool, And I was just like, all right, whatever. So like, it's just, man, again, if people don't respect what you're trying to do or what you're trying to like, you might want to reevaluate who is the people you're hanging out with.
So I look at Ernie. Ernie's been sober for a while, right? Yeah. And the thing is, I see what he does when he's out. Give him a little mineral water. He still has fun. So I'm picking up on. He doesn't know it, but I've been watching him these last 2 years, what he does while he's out, being sober. And that's what I'm doing now while I'm out. I'm sober. I grab my little mineral water, just chill. And
I admire Ernie a lot. And like I was telling you earlier, like I had a conversation with him today about about an hour long or so, just about some things that I wanted to do this year and kind of how I wanted to get more involved with like, some of the people that I feel like are doing some impactful stuff or are getting some momentum. Like I want to be a part of that. Like I want to see where I can help. And I kind of wanted to extend the same, hand to you. Like, wherever I can be of assistance, or if I can at least maybe, come in and just maybe try to gather some cars to go do whatever it is that you're doing and maybe in front of what you got going on or being a part of it. Like, man, just let me know, man. It's something as simple as sharing something on social media. Like,
I mean, even this is perfect. I just need to start talking about what's going on. Like we discussed earlier, I need to this is helping me cope with everything because I need to talk about, because I don't want to forget about it. I'm never going to forget about it. But at the same time, I don't want it to justify me or be my identity. I don't want it to be my identity, but I don't want to ignore it either. So it's
You
just,
also don't want it to dictate like your quality of life, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, I think coming out of it, like I said, it's gonna take you a little while to get, back into the routine because I imagine there's some stuff that you'll never get back to because of what just life changing thing you went through. But learn to make peace with it and just try to just little by little ease back into what it is that you are, who it is that you are, and then also what it is that you want to be and who it is that you want to be
Mm-hmm.
now going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you were able to sit with me and share this story with me. I definitely didn't expect it to go like that fast, that quick into the just jump right into it, and I kind of just wanted to let you run with it. But definitely, I took a lot of things from this myself that I am gonna go back and watch and just kind of reflect. And I want to maybe if we can, this is the beginning of the year. Let's maybe like let's try a year or let's see 6 months and let's just see kind of like even if it's something quick like man, dude, like, where are you at now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where's this at? Like, what things are moving in place? So, other than that, man, is there anything else you want to kind of get off your chest and just kind of just
No,
throw
I
out
mean,
there?
I
Any
just,
shout outs or thanks to your family and your friends
oh,
for
dude,
fucking-
my friends and family and girlfriend and just everyone. It's amazing seeing everyone just come together so quickly and like just, you got you by yourself, right? And then once you get the army come around you and surround you, that's a powerful force. So there was no doubt in my mind that I was going to get through it without, the help of my family and friends, especially my childhood friends. Like my childhood friends, they're the ones that are reaching out to me. And some of them we hadn't spoken in years, and they're the ones that are right there for me. And that meant a lot too. Because not that, oh, you see who's by your side when times are bad. No, not that, because I wasn't public with it. And even like the friends I had, they asked like, bro, how come you didn't say anything? Like, why weren't you? I was like, dude, I didn't want to say anything because I was scared.
Man, I didn't even know what the hell I had or what was gonna happen.
Yes, and then if I tell you, then I don't know what's going on. I'm not trying to freak anybody out. So no, I didn't want to tell anybody because I I didn't want the wrong thing getting out. Even now, like some people I'm hearing like, damn, like, are you gonna pass away? This and that. Well, I hope I ain't passing away now, but I hope it's not anytime soon either. But as of now, I'm fine. Like, they were able to take out the cancer, and as of now, I'm cancer free. I'm in remission, so I'm going every 6 months for the next few years to get looked at, scans and blood work. Main thing is like kidney function. They want to make sure all my functions are well. I mean, if I continue to do what I'm doing, trying to eat right, getting back in shape, like it's gonna be. I'm happy where I am today, being a month and a half out, because while I was sitting there, man, I didn't think any of this was gonna be possible. Because I'm sitting on the couch. This surgery was so bad, recovery wise, that I wasn't able to move for two weeks. Like just lounging around and being miserable for 2 weeks. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
So-
once I saw you in the gym and kind of getting back into the swing of things, I was like,
And I had to do it. I'm happy I did it. Because even going back to the gym, I didn't want to do it. Like I was so lazy. Like I was letting it defeat me. I had to go back into the gym, and I had to show people that, hey, let's do this shit. Like let's fucking, sorry for cussing, but let's strap our boots on and let's get back into it. Because if I can get back in the gym, surely you can get back in the gym if you're in it. Because I'm starting the same way you're starting. Because I can't do 10 push-ups right now. But if you can't, we're in the same boat.
that's kind of where I look at it for me doing this, that getting the gym and getting into it, like, dude, yes, because people watch, people see it, people see you go, they see you going through something that, their stuff may be of that magnitude or it may be a little less, but somewhat similar or whatever the case may be, but they're like, okay, if he can do that, then I can do it, and like, using that same thing, like, that's why I started doing the whole gym thing, because it is the beginning of the new year and making the reels and doing all that, like, one, I want people to do better with their lives. I want to be a little bit more fit. Walk, go do something.
Yeah.
Just change something.
Walking is so important, people. You don't have to go run miles. You don't have to go jog. Just walk. Just walk.
Anything. Just get outside.
Just walk.
Man, and like, fortunately, out of the stuff that I posted recently, the gym actually that I go to was able to get 2 new members that came from what the stuff joking around that I was doing.
Yeah.
So like that was a beauty in it too. It's just like, okay, well, the business grew, but then also these people are growing and they're trying to do something with their lives. Like, and then now, I from my business perspective, it's like starting from scratch and not having anything and starting to build something. It's like, okay, I did it, and if I can do it and I'm doing it, I want people to do something for themselves too.
Yep.
Now, granted, I can do it a lot easier because I don't have kids and I don't have big responsibilities other than my house and stuff like that. But if we don't do anything and we don't take charge and try to change something in our lives, we're gonna constantly be at the same thing at the end of every year, doing the same shit. And quite frankly, I was honestly tired of having the same results every year, not fulfilled. This year was the first year I can say where I started and I was truly, genuinely happy with where I was.
Yep.
And I was excited for where things are going. And was I scared? Am I nervous? Yes, absolutely. But if it doesn't scare you a little bit, it doesn't make you pucker your butt a little bit, then you're not aiming high enough.
Yep.
And I don't know where anything, whether, your story, my story, or any of these lives that we have that we're living, I don't know where they're going to end or how far they're going to take us, but we just have to continue to push forward and know that it's bigger than us, and we're really capable as long as we have a strong support system and we have that faith in our beliefs, and we just surround ourselves with just good people that are going to be the fire we need, the fuel we need to keep this fire burning.
And I think that's a big thing, is surrounding yourself with good people and the right people. And there's a lot of people out there that wish you bad, but there's a lot of people out there that wish you good. So just find those people that wish you good and you keep pushing. And there's a thing, like my whole recovery just happened to be at the beginning of January where I was cleared, which it all works out. New year, new me, back in the gym, like started from ground zero. I love seeing the progress already. Last week was my first full week back. I'm more motivated and determined now than I've ever been. And I want that to rub off on everyone. And if anyone out there has any questions or even any comments that are help, they need help, or if they're going through something like this and they don't want to tell nobody, but hey, Josh, how did this go for you? Or hey, I found this. How did you feel when you felt this? Or hey, I'm in the gym, I'm just starting. Like, what do you recommend? Like, I've been there, done that with a lot of these things in that sense, and I mean, I'm more than happy to help anyone out there out.
A lot more people are willing to lend a hand if you just show a little bit of interest and you just ask questions.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that get a high off of like, you need help from me?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Show you, man. But dude, we'll wrap it up. I don't know how much more juice I've got on this one. This one died.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's fine. It'll work out. It'll be good, dude. Yeah, we're good. We'll leave it at that, dude.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
How long ago?
Good. I don't know, dude. We'll check it out. We'll wrap it up. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, shit.
No, you're fine, dude. Thanks for sitting with me, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come and do this with me here at my house and just get your story out, man. I'm thankful for what we've been able to do and put this out there, and I hope that if anybody's going through something, they can take something from this and kind of walk away, or if they don't know where to go or where to turn, I'll put your handles and I'll put your stuff on here so we can sit and just just reach out to someone, and you're not alone. We're all kind of going through this stuff, and we don't have the book of life, and it's easier when you do it with somebody than when you do it without. So
100%.
Thank you, dude.
Nah, for sure. I appreciate it. We'll see how it goes. I don't know when it cut off on you.